Good day and welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, 360 Sport. A lot of people watch 360 Sport because we give you the best when it comes to the trend and sport stories across the globe. Today will be different as we look at yesterday's match. The latest sport story we have is Nigeria Super Falcons defeating their Cameroonian counterpart to click closer to the Paris 2024 Olympics. We'll also be looking at cycling. Joining me to talk about this, my name is Mudashir Shitu. Joining me to talk about it is the man that I always talk about sport. Very objective, very neutral. His perspective is very close to an expert in his field. I'm talking about Shewan Agbabiaka, who is in Estonia. It's good to have you on the show, Shewan.
So good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah. So we'll go straight. Nigeria, a good one. The last time we were in the Olympics was in 2008. That's talking about the female Olympics, football. The last time the Super Falcon was there, we were there in 2000, 2004, and 2008. Since then, we've not been at the Olympics. So we played a two-legged affair match with Cameroon, and away in Cameroon, we were able to score, both sides goalless. And in Abuja, in a very empty stadium, we scored in the first half with Okonkwo scoring that. That makes us open to meet either Tanzania or South Africa. What can you say about this with this interesting victory?
Well, I mean, as I would say, it's a very welcome development for Nigeria. Very congratulations to the girl for the Super Falcons. I mean, when they played the first game in Douala, they had a 0-0 draw, and then they head back to Abuja, where it was a very tight game. And scoring the goal in the 15 minutes, that was a wonderful display by the number 17 Super Falcons player. It makes it a very easy tap-in for Esther to seal the victory for Nigeria. That was a very good one, and then we're hoping now that we'll qualify. Because Cameroon has stopped us sometimes back in 2012. It didn't allow us to qualify to the Olympics, but this time around, saying it was in our own home, and then we actually were able to do that this time around. So I think a big congrats to the girls, and let's see what they can do in the Olympics going forward.
Should we celebrate now? Should we say it's time to celebrate? The Super Falcons, good ones for this generation that will be going. But they have an order, and that is the match between Tanzania and South Africa. On paper, we probably assume that South Africa will take the day against Tanzania. If it is going to be Nigeria and South Africa, knowing what South Africa have done in recent time when it comes to female football, do you think we can have the day against the Bayana?
Well, we can write off South Africa. I mean, just concluded African Cup of Nations in the men's tournament. We see what South Africa did to Nigeria. We almost lost that particular encounter. So I think it's going to be a replay now in the female perspective. So obviously, Nigeria on paper is better than South Africa, but it's football. You can't write up South Africa. And obviously, I actually am of the opinion that Nigeria will probably qualify. So I don't really see very much of a threat. But the one that was most significant to us was playing against Cameroon, which we have defeated them, similar to how we qualified to the final of the African Cup of Nations. I think going forward now, Nigeria had a better chance to win South Africa in the qualifying for the Olympics.
What can you say in recent time when we know that we've had more Nigerian foreign based, that's talk about Nigerian born players over there outside the country having a greater opportunity than the Nigerian players born here in Nigeria ahead behind them in the national team. There've been recent influx of players that are Nigerian born over there in Europe ahead of the 1 year in Nigeria. Don't you think that's a bit of unfair treatment, or what's your opinion on that?
Football is definitely a fair game. If you say it's an unfair opinion, then you'll be coming from a very biased angle. I mean, you want to see the likes of good players who are training in one of the best facilities all over the world and then playing in a very diversified league. So many players plays in the English Premier League, in the Spanish La Liga, and of course in French league. So, and as compared to our players who plays in the local league, if you are a coach, you probably think they don't have enough experience to match up with the likes of Lionel Messi, to match up with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, to play against the likes of bigger players around the European competition. But still, I still believe that it's always there has to be an inclusive football. So if you really want to grow your home base player, you need to start picking them from the home base. So I could agree with you if it's like a 50-50 kind of selection. But it has to be the best. Yeah, if you are competing against the best, then you need your best player to compete at the level at which the European players play. So that's one of the reasons it seems to be like it tends towards the European players more to the home-based players. But of course, if you have good home-based players who plays very well, I believe the coach will actually select the one. Bali, don't forget, was probably playing in the home base before in African League, and now he's the Super Eagles head goalkeeper. So it's not always about the biasness, but it's most of the time about the ability to be able to deliver.
Well said. And we want a situation whereby the man they call the present coach of the Super Falcons has been just renewed his contract. Do you think he has the right steps to take us much better than expected? We know that at the World Cup he did so well, and but unfortunately he came fourth from the African Cup of Nations that qualified us for the World Cup. Are you satisfied with our coach?
Currently, now I'm satisfied with our coach. We saw what happened in the tournament they played in the Olympics. Yeah, and especially the match against the host nation. We saw their heroic display, how they qualify, and of course when England beat Nigeria in that quarterfinal, that we had to lose them on penalty shootout. But I believe that going forward now to the World Cup or probably the Olympics, he probably know what he's doing, and I would like to support him. I think we should still keep the coach if we necessarily need to get to a better position in the tournament.
Randy Waldrum is taking us to the Olympics if he defeats South Africa, and that's a very good record on his profile. But our level with the European counterpart is always below par. What do you think we could do to make sure that we're on the same level with the likes of England, Switzerland, Australia? We know we've conquered Africa several times, but when we play our foreign counterpart, we always get a minus, not our aspect. That is why we took our participation at the last World Cup so huge, because we did more than expected. We're in a tough group, but we did far below our expectation. Far higher than our expectation. So what do you think we need to do to be on the same level with our foreign counterpart? Or it is what it is, there's nothing we can do, they're just better than the African counterparts?
Well, first of all, it's all boiled down to how you sponsor your team, how you support them financially, emotionally, and of course the whole nation behind them. And of course, they are also playing in different leagues, like we both rightly said the other time. It has to do with so many training, and they have to organize a lot of friendly matches with this European player. I hardly see the female Falcons play any friendly match against the European player. So that's, you have to get used to them for you to be able to beat them. You understand? So if you want to compete in that high level, playing against England, playing against the United States, we are very good, the Germany and South Korea, then you need to organize friendly match more often to be able to play them and then understand how they have their own formation, their tactical move. That way it will give you a better chance going into any match that you want to play them. And of course, that's already a confidence on its own, if I'm rightly correct.
Yes, thank you very much, Seun. We'll go on this quick break. When we come back, we'll be looking at cycling. We've been speaking with Seun Agbabiaka, a sport journalist based in Estonia, giving us his opinion on the Super Falcons as they inch closer to Paris 2024. When we come back, we'll talk about cycling. Still with Seun Agbabiaka with us. Yeah, welcome back. It's been interesting moment on the show. We'll be talking with Seun Agbabiaka about the Super Falcons' hope of getting to the Olympics in Paris in a few months. But away from football, we will not be talking about cycling. A certain Nigeria, a female cyclist, Issei, has qualified for the Paris 2024, the road race cycling. It's good for Nigerians. I'm sure this is what our country should be celebrating, because it's going to be written in all the current affairs book that who is the first Nigerian cyclist to qualify for the Olympics, and a lot of people will say so much about it. So when this news came to you, what's your expectation and how did you receive this news?
Well, I was happy when I heard the news. It's a very, very good one for Nigeria. It's a brilliant one for the girl. I mean, her name will be written in gold. She will be celebrated over years and years to come. Peradventure, if she then win in the Olympics, it will be a very big one. I mean, she just won a gold medal in Ghana in the tournament that they played. That makes her qualify for this Olympics. I mean, that's what we should be celebrating. That's the spirit of sportsmanship. That is sport, that is what sport is all about. It shouldn't just be all about football in Nigeria. It shouldn't just be all about the football or the table tennis. Their sport is encompassed into so many games, and then cycling is part of sport. And then seeing Nigeria participate for the first time in Olympics as a cyclist, that's a welcome development. It means that every other sport in Nigeria can obviously be proven to be what Nigeria could qualify for, and what Nigeria could bring home as a gold medal. So I'm celebrating her, and I'll look forward to see her at the Olympics. I'll also be in France then, so obviously I'll also be there to support her.
Okay, interesting moment. And let's don't forget, most times we talk to these young lads or those that have been doing about heroic performance like this. Most of the time, they say it has to do with their personal effort, their family support. But we know that Nigeria is not a cyclist nation. What do you think Nigeria can do? Because the road itself is not even motorable. What do you think Nigeria should do to ensure that we take this as a step to become a cycling nation? We weren't a marathon nation until the Access Bank Critical City Marathon and some marathon developed. So what do you think Nigeria should do to become a cycling nation?
Well, I think you've just given a very, very good expression of what Nigeria should do. You just said it, that we weren't a marathon nation until Access Bank came into. So I think there will be so many non-state actors who will want to improve sport in general. Just recently, we qualified in basketball, and then we have to look for funding for them to qualify. In the last minute, it came through. Cycling is another sport that no Nigerian obviously used to pay attention into. And now that we know that there's possibility that we can always compete in this kind of a big event in a stage like the Olympics, I think so many actors will come in now. Private sector will want to do more, especially catching the young lads in their very early stage, and that's to help improve the cycling as a sporting event in Nigeria generally.
Always take a road like this, and that comes to the next question: that government in private sectors or government should answer of sport. What do you think is the best way for sport development? Is it coexisting together, the private sector and the public sector, or government to just hands-off sport for private sector?
Well, I think there should be a committee in charge of all these sporting events. I mean, similar to what is happening here in Estonia, there's a committee that has to do with the sport events in general, regardless whether it's football, whether it's table tennis, whether it's cycling. Those kind of committee they have enough time to plan ahead. They have enough time to source for funding. They have enough time to source for sponsorship. So I believe that it's a new era that we'll be looking up to Nigeria. And then being that this girl's name will be written in gold, peradventure if she win, I believe this will be a yardstick to both the government and of course the private sector to improve every other sport as something to be participated for.
Yes, thank you very much for your time, Shiwan Babiaka. We know that you've been in France. Hope we can get more of you at the Olympics to tell us what's your feeling like to be at the Olympics. That'll probably be your first Olympics.
Apparently, that will be my first Olympics, and I'm excited to go for the Olympics.
Yeah, is Estonia very close to France or is it going to take you a long journey to get to France?
It's less than 4 hours by air, so obviously we fly by air. If I book my ticket on time, I should have an hotel to stay in and, of course, enjoy. It's going to be in summer, by the way, and I'll have a summer break, so I'll be enjoying the whole of the Olympics.
Yes, thank you very much, Chioma Barbiaka, for giving us in-depth analysis on all this. And
Thank you very much for having me.
We can only hope that in comparing Estonian sports and Nigerian sports, how sportsy are we going to say Estonia is a sporty nation?
Well, it depends on the angle that you're looking at. If it has to do with a general sports where everybody likes, if it's football, I won't regard Estonia as a sporting nation. I mean, even their local leagues here, there's only one team you can always place your hands on, which is Tallinn Flora. That always do. It's a finance league, if I would just call it that way. Even if they qualify to compete for UEFA competition, they don't do well. So you can't call them a football sporting nation. But in some other sport like basketball, like volleyball, and of course swimming, Estonia is always there to represent their country. And I think that's where they normally get their golds from. So obviously they are a sporting nation, but not in the angle that Nigerians we want them to be.
Okay, you're in the dilemma to the Olympics. Who are you going to support? Your country, Nigeria, or Estonia? Because I know that some Estonians will be at the Olympics. So that's just to choose. But can we hear your opinion on that, Agbabiaka?
Well, I'm Nigerian by blood. I'm a Nigerian by every fiber of my brain. Anywhere Nigeria competes, that's where I stand. But if Estonia is not if Estonia is competing where Nigeria is not competing, obviously I'll be happy to see them bring a gold medal home. But Nigeria is it for me, always.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shiwan Agbabiaka, for your time. Hopefully next week we'll be talking other trending, entertaining, and interesting sports story. Extend my greetings to Nigerians based in Estonia. As I've been talking with Shiwan Agbabiaka, based in Estonia, has been giving us his analysis on the fact that the Super Falcons will probably be in Paris 2024, and we are only hoping for the game between Tanzania and South Africa. We also know that a Nigerian has qualified for the Nigerian cyclist has qualified for the Olympics for the first time ever. In Nigeria will be representing Nigerian flag will be in cycling at the Olympics. And that's all on today's program. Thank you very much. My name is Mr. Shirishitu. Don't forget to join us on all our social media platforms so that the conversation will continue. And if you have a feedback or have a comment to make, just go on all our social media platforms, TV360 Nigeria, and you get the best of information. Thank you very much. See you again.